This is Fancy. I am a fighter of Numenor, and I've been fighting for about 2 years. I go by she, her, and I'm interviewing this lovely person. We're going to be talking about your class that you're going to be having at this year's Oktoberfest. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Nora Faywin. I go by Noro for short. And I have been fighting. It'll actually be my 1 year anniversary at Okfest. That was my first event. And I am going to be teaching the Archery 101 class.
Fantastic. So we'll just get into some of the questions. So, of course, you are going to be teaching the Archery 101 class. So, can you just tell us a little bit about it? Is it just archery in general? Is it just focused on Belagarth archery?
Yeah, I wanted to be focused on archery in general because archery in general can be used for Bellatar archery, but then it can also be used for actual archery. And I know a lot of people that are doing Bellatar archery are often self-taught, and so I want to help them develop the skills to keep themselves safe, to keep others safe, and just learn a bit of the basics. So yeah, it's really breaking it down into the absolute basics of what archery is, what a bow is, what an arrow is, how to have proper stance and form, and then how to aim using that.
Yeah, I got to aim for those knees. Can't have them in venturing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how long have you been doing archery?
I have been doing archery for over 15 years. I've actually probably been doing it for about 19, almost 20 years. I started at Girl Scout camp when I was a kid. Oh, and I forgot to mention my pronouns. They're she, they. But I started at Girl Scout camp when I was a kid, when I was about 11. That was like the minimum age to start learning how to do archery. So I learned how to do it then, kept up with it, eventually ended up getting my own bow, which is what I actually use in Bell. But then once I was 17 or 18 or 19, I became an official archery instructor so that I could teach at my camp that I was still going to. And I kept that certification for a while. Long story short, certification was an absolute hassle, and so it didn't end up happening. But I kept up with archery and teaching archery like unofficially for my friends, and everything. And for that long time, and Bell is just something that got me back into it again and back.
That's cool. So it's interesting you have some like actual certification and whatnot. So I honestly didn't know that that was something you could get certified for besides like hunting or something like that. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, USA Archery is what I had gotten it through, and they do it for hunting, but also for target archery. And it's pretty much what like Olympic archery is also trained in. But it's a nationwide sort of company association program that you can get certification for, different levels of certification for as well. And that's where I'm
Okay,
at.
cool. So do you ever make your own arrows, whether it be Belagarth arrows, real like the dangerous ones that could deal a lot more damage?
Yeah, so when you buy arrows, usually they're deconstructed, so you can put on your own tips, put on your own fletching. When I bought my first arrows, I just got ones that had like screw-on tips that were doable in either way. But I actually have a set of arrows for Bell that I'm going to make for my first time actually at Okfest. My arrow shafts are a little bit too long, and so I have a friend that's going to be giving me some stops so that I can connect those and then connect the tips and do all the things. So actually, my first time going to be creating fully my full first arrows is going to be at Okfest as well.
Well, that's exciting. You got a color scheme you're gonna go with?
I am using it from one of my friends who gave me the arrowheads, so they're just green, which is going with our ranger colors.
Okay, so they're pre-built, not the kind that you throw together or put together.
Yeah, they're the pre-built ones. I have them right over here, and I can grab them. But yeah, they're the little pre-built ones. I think they're an old forged foam potentially. I don't want to say which actually they were from, but they're older. And they're just the all pre-put together arrowheads, and then I have the shafts that I'm gonna put together.
Nice.
So not full from zero construction, but base.
Yeah, I mean, it's still you're still constructing it, and whether it's old or new, as long as it can hit people. It's safe. It still counts.
Exactly.
What is the furthest that you've shot and hit at a particular target?
I was trying to think about this. He sent me these questions beforehand, and I usually only do indoor archery ranges. So usually we're pretty limited. Most of them are about 20, 25 meters. But there was one place I practiced at, and I think they were more trying to be Olympic qualified, so they were quite long. And I'm trying to think, it was years ago, and I was trying to think what the postings on the wall were. I actually think it was somewhere around like 35, 40 meters. And I just kept moving back farther and farther and farther. 20 meters is usually about where I'm arching from. Um, and when I'm teaching, it's usually around like 10 meters, if I think correctly. Um, but 20 is usually pretty standard. But I remember that place was quite big, and I just kept going back farther and farther. And I think I got it to about 40, which was the extent of the indoor facility.
Well, that's
So
cool.
I'm thinking 40 meters.
That's pretty long. I mean, meters. I believe it's what is it? Meter is 3 feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's quite a lot of space there. And you hit the target. I assume you
I
got it
did.
in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just barely able to make it with my full draw, because the ceiling was an issue to get the arc right.
Ah,
So at my full draw, and I have a 35, so at my full draw and aiming correctly without hitting the ceiling, that's how I was able to get it there, if I remember correctly.
nice. And do you have a like a favorite bow or anything like that that you like to use?
I have a favorite type of bow, which is recurve bows. I absolutely adore them, but I've used quite a different types of bows. I've used original like U bows, like English U bows.
Hmm.
I've used some original Japanese style bows. That's the one that I was like, you actually arch like full arm. Um, but yeah, recurve bows are always my favorite. They just feel the strongest, and look the prettiest. They can get so intricate and have beautiful designs. So I'm very partial to the recurve.
What do you use for Belagarth and what poundage is it?
I do use a recurve, and it is the max poundage. So it's, oh god, now I'm going to be quoted, but I'm pretty sure it's a 35, which is the max poundage, or 25. I can't even remember now. I should probably know by the time I get there, but I use a recurve. It's one that you can construct together, so the handle and the two arcs actually come apart, so it's very easy to travel with. It fits in a case about this big.
Okay, nice. I don't think I've really. I remember myself personally, I used to do archery for 4-H, so kind of similar to you with Girl Scouts, but I think we used. I don't know if it's necessarily recurve, but they had the wheels, or when you pull back
Yeah,
the. Is that
It's a
recurve?
it's
Com-
not. It's a
compound.
compound bow. So you have a simple bow, a recurve bow, and a compound bow. And compound bows can either have one or two pulleys or multiple pulleys. But pretty much it's the same idea as a recurve bow. It has an additional pull strength, but once you get to the max draw, that's when those pulleys will pop out and it'll release and relieve a majority of the pull strength. They're made for hunting so that you don't have to be there holding and pulling back the full poundage weight of your bow the whole time. They're made so that once you get past that, you can relax a bit more and don't have to continue pulling against the full strength of it.
Okay, well that's interesting. I guess I just hadn't thought about the differences between each, but I guess that would make sense with hunting. You do have to aim a lot more than Bell. Just point, shoot.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, and that's why you'll see a lot of them. Bows can be made of different materials, strings of different materials, and different ways of making them. And so, pretty much the highest poundage bows you're also going to be seeing are going to be your compound bows, because those are the ones that are usually going to be able to get the biggest amount of force and strength just because of the way that they're designed and made. And the pulleys allow them to be sometimes almost unreasonable with their draw strength, because if you get it past the draw strength to the full draw, the pulleys pop out and relieve that, so it's a lot easier.
Hmm. And I do know that those ones specifically aren't allowed for Belagarth because of safety reasons, but I know that that's at least what I started with, so it at least was somewhere to start.
Yeah,
So
and it's a lot easier to start with those, honestly.
yeah, I could see that with it working on the aim portion of it, not having to hold and then let go.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite part of archery?
I honestly love the fact that it is incredibly inclusive. So, one of the first things that I learned about archery is that almost anybody can do it. You can be in a wheelchair, you can have one arm, you can missing fingers, missing all sorts of things. You can have a multitude of different physical disabilities and still be able to arch. And then I also like that along and going with that, it uses such a large mental component that I don't think a lot of people put into thought as much, that it is very helpful for people that also have mental disabilities or issues, where it helps ground them, focus on just a few things and have a very satisfying outcome hitting a target.
I could also see being repetitive because you're doing the same actions over and over
Mm-hmm.
again, trying to get as close to the same results as possible. So that probably helps quite a bit.
Absolutely.
All right, so of course you're going to be having this class at Oktoberfest. So does anyone need to bring anything in particular to this class that you'd recommend?
Ideally, you would want to bring your own bows and arrows just so you can practice with your own tools and equipment. But I will have multiple bows, multiple arrows that people can use. We'll have some recurve bows and also just some simple bows that everybody can use, and we'll have a plethora of arrows.
Okay, and is there a fee for the class or anything of that
Nope,
sort?
it is totally free. I am doing this because I want people to learn how to be safe, how to properly hold and hit a target, how to better aim. I'm going to again go through every single step of archery, from just the like, I'm a doctor, so physiology and anatomy of a bow and an arrow, all the way down to how it is that you need to stand, how it is that you need to aim, how you're distributing your weight, and then specific individual varieties that can come into play, um, and make arching different or easier or harder for different people. Um, and so just teaching a multitude of different things in that class as well to help somebody be the best archer
Okay,
and in their life.
and will there be a lot of class participation?
Absolutely, that's the entire point of it. This isn't just going to be something that you're sitting and listening to me. This is 100% full active participation. The beginning is going to be me talking to you, and explaining things, but the bulk of it is going to be me actually having each person do the things as together as a group. But I'm going to teach everybody how to string a bow, how to load an arrow, how to shoot an arrow, and all of the steps that it takes to be able to do that. And truly, the best way for you to learn that is by doing it yourself. And so, what I'm also hoping to do in the class is not just do that and have the person do that, but then give active feedback. Have those people in sort of a different line practicing shooting, and I will be going and looking at each person's form and way and stance and helping and giving adjustments to help them improve on that.
Okay, great. And then, what do you want people to feel or left feeling by the end of your class?
I want them to feel that they have the basics to go and continue to improve their archery in a way that is safe and strong and conducive, to just furthering their skills overall. I want them to be able to take this not just for Bell, but for also anything else. I want them to have the tools to then be able to better themselves.
Well, fantastic. Well, your class sounds like it's definitely more in depth than, just come and do archery. So that's exciting to know, you're going to be teaching them the actual tools, how to use them properly and safely, and then letting them fly with their wings. Hopefully, they'll be able to pick up a bow and feel more confident at the event.
Yeah. And again, I want this event not just to be for initially thought, I don't know what I'm doing. Like one thing I commonly see, especially those that who are female or born female at birth, and again, this is because I was taught by a Girl Scout camp, a little intro sneak peek to what I'm going to be teaching, but it's something that I can show. A lot of people that are born female at birth, it's more common to have hyperextended elbows. So as you can see here, my arm makes more of a V shape. Most people will have a bit more of a straight shape. But when they do this, they have an hyperextended elbow. So actually, when you're holding your arm straight, your elbow can get in your way of where the string is going to go. So I see a lot of people getting hit by their string on their elbow. So one thing I'm going to teach is actually how to rotate your shoulder to move it out of the way and learn that flexibility of your elbow.
I know when I got back into archery because of Belagarth, I did find that that was happening, and I was like, I forgot about that little bit of detail. Didn't do it too bad when it was a lower poundage, but when it gets higher, 35-pound bow will give you a mad welt.
Oh yeah, and just the repetitiveness of it. Like sometimes you're just lightly skimming and scraping it, but if you're out there on the field shooting like 30, 40, 50 arrows in one fight, you're gonna have a big old welt by the end of the day. So things like that, and helping keep like your fingers safe that are drawing the bow, um,
I
and
think
just overall,
I think it'll
yeah,
be nice too to think of different ways to hold it because I'm gonna guess there's gonna be different ways to pull it back, so that'll be interesting to see.
there's always different ways, and it's what you want, but it's ideally it's more of the release that is the important part. Um, an unfortunate part of archery is if you don't lead with red fingers and very irritated fingers, you're probably not doing it right because you don't want to let go of the string. You want it to tense off of your fingers. So you're going to have that repetitive thing. So I always include people who want to arch and do archery to get archery gloves or a pair of gloves that they can just wear and use that can help protect that because that is the one part that is always going to get some irritation.
Just like guitar, just when you're playing the guitar, you know you're doing it right if you get calluses.
Exactly. And so you know you're doing archery right if you're getting calluses or if you have something to help protect your fingers.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to me about your class, and I believe that they have the actual announcement out with all of the class dates and times, but do you recall what date and time it's going to be?
Yeah, it's actually every single day. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 1 to 2 at the pavilion. You're welcome to come one of the days or every single day to keep improving your skills.
All right, sounds great. We look forward to it, and I wish you a good Oktoberfest and, happy anniversary. Thank you for being in the sport. It's good to see you here, and I hope to meet you officially in person, but I will see you soon.